Greetings, I am Enigmadness, your narrator in this dark odyssey through the most enigmatic stories. Join me as we dive into the hidden chronicles behind the 10 people who disappeared and reappeared under inexplicable circumstances, where reality bends and the line between the possible and the impossible blurs. 1. Stephen Kubaki. In 1978, Stephen Kubaki, a 23-year-old student at Hope College in Michigan, went missing while on a solo cross-country skiing trip near Lake Michigan. His skis and poles were found near the shoreline, and there were footprints leading toward the water but no sign of him. After an extensive search, Kubaki was presumed drowned. However, his disappearance would soon defy all logical explanation. 15 months later, Stephen reappeared, confused and unable to account for the missing time. He was found 700 miles away in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, with no memory of what had happened or how he had gotten there. He was wearing strange clothes and carrying a backpack filled with maps and other items that were not his. Despite his reappearance, the mystery only deepened as Kubaki never sought psychological help and declined to talk publicly about his experience. This case remains one of the most perplexing disappearances on record. Kubaki's unexplained vanishing and the bizarre circumstances surrounding his reappearance have led to various theories, from abduction by unknown forces to mental health episodes, but none have been proven. To this day, Kubaki's story is one of the greatest mysteries involving human disappearance and remains unsolved. 2. Agatha Christie. The famous mystery writer Agatha Christie became part of a real-life mystery when she disappeared for 11 days in 1926. After a particularly difficult period in her personal life, including the death of her mother and learning that her husband was having an affair, Christie left her home and was not seen again until nearly 2 weeks later. Her car was found abandoned near a chalk quarry, and despite a nationwide search, no clues as to her whereabouts surfaced. When Christie was finally discovered staying at a spa hotel in Harrogate under an assumed name, she claimed to have no memory of what had happened. She was diagnosed with amnesia, possibly triggered by emotional trauma. However, this explanation did not satisfy everyone, and speculation ran rampant. Some suggested she staged the disappearance as a publicity stunt, while others believed she had suffered a mental breakdown. The exact reason behind Christie's disappearance remains a subject of debate to this day. She never spoke about the incident publicly, and it is widely believed that she took the secret of those 11 days to her grave. Her personal mystery is as captivating as the plots of her famous novels, leaving readers and historians alike searching for answers that may never come. 3. Geneveve Pito. Geneveve Pito, a South African musician, vanished without a trace in 1962 after boarding a train in the Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo. Pito had been performing as part of an orchestra tour and was last seen boarding the train en route to Leopoldville, now Kinshasa. Her disappearance sparked an intense search effort that lasted several weeks, but no trace of her was found. 17 years later, Pito reappeared in a remote area of the Zambezi River in Mozambique. She was unable to explain where she had been during the missing years, as her memory of the time had been completely erased. Locals found her in a confused and malnourished state, and despite attempts to piece together what had happened, she offered no coherent answers. The circumstances of Pito's disappearance and reappearance have baffled investigators and historians. Some speculate that she may have been held captive, while others believe she experienced a dissociative fugue state. Regardless of the explanation, Pito's case remains one of Africa's most enduring unsolved mysteries. 4. The Pollock Twins. In 1957, two young sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock, died tragically in a car accident in Hexham, England. Their parents were devastated, but a year later, Mrs. Pollock became pregnant and gave birth to twin girls. Strangely, the twins, Gillian and Jennifer, began displaying knowledge and behaviors reminiscent of their deceased sisters. They even had birthmarks in the same locations as their departed siblings. As they grew older, the twins made unsettling claims that suggested they retained memories from the lives of their older sisters. They could describe the family's old house in detail, a place they had never visited. Their parents believed this was evidence of reincarnation, a theory that sparked widespread interest and debate in the paranormal community. While the twins eventually outgrew these memories and went on to lead normal lives, the case continues to intrigue researchers of reincarnation and unexplained phenomena. Skeptics argue that the parents may have subconsciously influenced the twins, while others believe this case may hold evidence of life after death. The Pollock twins remain a unique and unsettling mystery. 5. Bergdahl. In 2009, Bergdahl, a U.S. Army soldier stationed in Afghanistan, disappeared under mysterious circumstances. He was captured by the Taliban and held captive for 5 years before being released in 2014 as part of a controversial prisoner swap. What made Bergdahl's case so baffling was the nature of his disappearance and the conflicting reports that followed. Bergdahl was found wandering outside his base, claiming he had left voluntarily to report issues within his unit. However, questions arose about his mental state and whether his disappearance was an act of desertion or something more complex. After his return to the U.S., Bergdahl faced a court-martial and widespread criticism, but he insisted he had not intended to desert his post. Bergdahl's case remains controversial and enigmatic. Was his disappearance an intentional act of protest, a result of a mental breakdown, or something else entirely? His story is a reminder of the complex psychological toll war can take on individuals, and it leaves open questions about the true nature of his actions. 6. Elisa Lamb. Elisa Lamb's disappearance and death have become one of the internet's most infamous unsolved mysteries. In 2013, Lamb, a Canadian student, was staying at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles when she went missing. Weeks later, her body was discovered in a water tank on the roof of the hotel after guests complained about water pressure and a strange taste in the tap water. Lamb's bizarre behavior, captured on hotel security footage, showed her seemingly talking to someone or something invisible in the elevator. Her erratic movements and the strange circumstances surrounding her death have led to a myriad of theories, including mental illness, paranormal involvement, and foul play. Despite an official ruling of accidental drowning, the case remains shrouded in mystery. How did Lamb gain access to the locked water tanks? Why was she acting so strangely in the elevator? To this day, Elisa Lamb's story continues to haunt investigators and the public alike, sparking endless speculation about what really happened to her. 7. Jim Sullivan. Jim Sullivan was a talented musician who disappeared without a trace in 1975 while driving through the New Mexico desert. Known for his ethereal music, Sullivan was last seen leaving a motel in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, after which he simply vanished. His car was later found abandoned with his belongings still inside, but there was no sign of him. One of the most chilling aspects of Sullivan's disappearance is that it seemed to echo themes from his music. His debut album UFO contained eerie references to alien abduction and desert isolation, leading some to believe that his disappearance was more than a coincidence. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Sullivan was ever found. Sullivan's disappearance has become the stuff of legend, with theories ranging from alien abduction to foul play. His enigmatic vanishing continues to captivate those who listen to his music and wonder if his fate was as otherworldly as his song suggested. 8. The Soldering Children. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a fire consumed the Sodder family home in West Virginia, and 5 of the children were presumed dead. However, no remains were found in the ashes, and strange events surrounding the fire led their parents to believe the children had been kidnapped. Over the years, the Sodders received strange letters and tips, suggesting that the children were still alive. The case grew even more perplexing when the family received a photograph in the 1960s of a young man resembling their son, Louis. who had supposedly died in the fire. Despite extensive efforts to investigate the leads, the Soldering children were never found, and the mystery of their disappearance has remained unsolved. The Soldering Children case is one of the most chilling and tragic disappearances in American history. To this day, no one knows if the children died in the fire or were abducted, leaving the family and investigators with unanswered questions that linger to this day. 9. The Flan Isles Lighthouse Keepers. In 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers vanished from their post on the remote Flan Isles in Scotland under mysterious circumstances. When a relief crew arrived, they found the lighthouse empty, the doors locked from the inside, and the clock stopped. The logbook contained eerie entries about a storm that had passed, yet there had been no reported storms in the area. Despite exhaustive searches of the island, no trace of the men was ever found. Theories have ranged from them being swept away by rogue waves to supernatural involvement, with some locals believing that the keepers were taken by otherworldly forces. The mystery of the Flan Isles lighthouse keepers remains one of the most enduring and chilling tales of unexplained disappearances. It has inspired numerous works of fiction, but the truth behind what happened on that lonely island has never been uncovered. 10. Granger Taylor. Granger Taylor was a brilliant mechanic and inventor from Vancouver Island, Canada, known for his obsession with space and extraterrestrial life. In 1980, at the age of 32, Taylor left behind a note for his family claiming that he was going to board an alien spaceship and travel across the universe. Shortly afterward, he disappeared without a trace. Taylor had built a life-sized replica of a spaceship on his property, where he would often spend hours. His note implied that he would return in 42 months, but he never did. Years later, parts of what was believed to be his truck were found near a blast site in a remote forest, but his body was never discovered, leading to continued speculation about his fate. To this day, Taylor's disappearance is shrouded in mystery, leaving behind questions about whether he met a tragic end or truly encountered something otherworldly. And so, this is how we conclude this haunting yet intriguing journey through the top 10 people who disappeared and reappeared under mysterious circumstances. Each case we have explored serves as a chilling reminder of how reality can warp in ways that defy our understanding. These stories remain etched in the shadows of your consciousness, waiting to be rediscovered once again. If you enjoyed this journey and wish to explore more stories like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to join us on our next adventure into the unknown. Until our next journey, intrepid explorers.